Hey, what's up, car fam? Today's gonna be another update video for those trying to pre-order a 2023 Honda Civic Type R. I did a video last week kind of sharing some updates that a dealership shared with me. Definitely learned a couple of things, so if you want to kind of get up to speed on what information is out there now and when you can expect potential like shipping dates and different things like that, make sure you click on that video. I'll link that above. So in this video, I'm going to share updates on my recent research that I did this week. So one of the big updates is for those thinking about buying the car out of state, I would highly recommend, that's one of the questions that you ask, if the dealership will do out-of-state purchases. Sometimes they don't work with out-of-state buyers because of different reasons. Others are kind of in a pending status on if they will do that for this vehicle or not. So that's a very important question to find out outside of just trying to figure out if they are, requiring a deposit or if they're just keeping a list. Some dealerships, it sounds like, may not even get vehicles, which is pretty obvious, but some I guess have confirmation that they won't be getting the allocation. I called a dealership in Northern California yesterday and they confirmed that they're not getting one. So that was pretty interesting information to know that some dealerships, of course, don't know what's coming, but others have confirmation that, hey, we're just not going to get a 2023 Civic Type R for this first batch, I guess. So something to keep in mind, just kind of call around, figure out what makes the most sense for you if you are even considering, like I said, buying out of state or if you're prioritizing buying in state. Now for dealership markups, we know this game's really crazy right now and it could be really frustrating. So expect for a lot of dealerships anyway to say that they are going to be charging at least 10K over. I've heard that out of the majority of the calls that I've had, most are saying that they will be charging 10K over. I called one yesterday in, I think Indianapolis, and they were saying 5K over right now, but then again, once it comes, they see the demand, who knows what can happen. I did call another dealership in Las Vegas. They said that they are not charging. They said they do accessories, which basically in their case is for like window tinting. And I asked about their Civic SIs, like what they're doing, because that's my gauge to find out like, hey, if you're charging 5 over or 2 over for a Civic SI, that gives me an indication of it's probably going to be more for the Type R. So that's one little trick you can kind of use to at least get a gauge of like, hey, what they may or may not do. This particular dealership, basically like this, they said, nothing's in writing, but they said that they just charge for, window film and things like that. So that's a good sign, but at the same time, until you have something in writing concrete, sometimes they're just really looking to get you, on their list so that they can keep you out of the market from other dealerships. So just something to keep in mind. That's actually what a sales rep told me yesterday, because I asked about leaving a deposit. And she made the comment that, hey, of course, we don't know what we're getting. A lot of dealerships don't know. I have access to see every dealership across the states. And right now, no one has any type of allocation information, which, it makes sense. It's not on sale yet. They're probably still finalizing a lot of stuff at Honda, which is why we haven't received the horsepower information for the state. So a lot is pending. But long story short, she made the comment that a lot of dealerships are doing that. It's kind of twofold. It's good for the person that's like on the list, and of course they have some money down there, a little bit higher priority. But at the same time, if you leave a deposit for 5 different dealerships, trying to figure out even when that specific dealership is going to get their allocation of the 2023 Civic Type R is kind of up in the air. I've seen that happen in the past where people place a deposit and the person's like, cool, you're the first one on their list, but then maybe they're not getting the car for 4 months, and then the dealership next door, for example, is getting theirs in 2 weeks, but you don't have a deposit. So it's kind of an interesting game. You have to figure out if you want to leave a deposit. Of course, check within, double check that it's refundable. In most cases it is, but I would confirm that information to see if you want to go the deposit route or just keep doing your research and be really, really quick to respond and make a move when one does come available. So those are just some of the major updates, quick highlights. Double check that they are or are not being able to work with people out of state. Some dealerships want to have you there in person, which is risky. You don't want to fly somewhere just to have a line of 10 people also wanting to buy the car. You kind of have to see what makes sense. So double check that ahead of time. And then, of course, see what makes sense if you want to leave a deposit. If they will put something in writing, for example, they say, hey, we're gonna charge 5K over, that's what we're gonna do. Whatever you're looking to, agree with, then make sure you get whatever you can in writing, because they can say one thing when you leave that deposit and then another when the car comes. So definitely do your due diligence to try to get whatever you can in writing, email, etc. And make sure that the deposit is refundable. So I'll share updates as I get more information. We are looking at around November-ish for some dealerships to get the car. And then Honda says the car goes on sale this fall. So September, October is potentially what we're looking at, but we'll have to see because they haven't released horsepower numbers, which gives me the indication that it could be a marketing play, but also it could be some emissions type of scenario they're trying to finalize to see what they can put out as far as power and different things like that to be in compliance with the United States, which is why I think we don't have those horsepower numbers, because that's its own issue in itself. So I'll keep you up to date on what information I find. Make sure you subscribe, and then I have a full playlist of other Honda content, Acura content, depending on what you're into. So feel free to check out my videos, and catch you guys in the next video. Peace.